Hi everyone, it's me, Domino SNK.
I'm BC.
I'm Solid Sword 23.
Yep, and today we're doing our Nathan Drake podcast for the upcoming fall patch for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. And today we have with us Solid Sword, who is a Drake who has done pretty well in performance in streams and tournament, and therefore we figured that we'd be interviewing him since all of the other Drakes are unavailable. So, at the time, unfortunately, all the other Drakes are unavailable or have left me hanging. But so, other than that, let's dive right in.
We still love you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's dive right in. So, Solid, where does Drake currently stand on the tier list, as well as what's a typical Drake gameplay style and matchups worth noting where he does really well in and ones he does really poor in?
Well, I'll break it down like this. FFA and 2v2, he's pretty much high tier. FFA, he has a lot of ways to deal with crowds, like his up square grenade launcher, and of course his AK. And also Magnum. I think people don't use Magnum that much. It's devastating. 2v2, he's a great support character. For characters with no zoning capabilities or no long range anything, he can pretty much cover you when you need help, so forth and so on. 1v1, he's pretty much mid tier in my opinion.
Like mid to high, somewhere between high mid to low. Somewhere between high mid to low high. Correct. So, what are some of his more negative matchups? His matchups where Drake doesn't do very hot in, and could you list some key ones, some key characters?
Yeah, like I said, all top tiers are bad, but the four that come into mind specifically are Ratchet, Sackboy, Cole, and Isaac. Those four characters beat him at long range and close range, and mid range.
There's also some mid tiers that give him a lot of trouble too, aren't there? Such as Big Daddy and Hayachi.
Yes, especially Big Daddy, with his super armor and him able to his dash, being able to go through his AK shots at a specific distance, I believe, right?
And Hayachi can just counter everything, correct? Even his slide?
Counter everything. Yes, and his wave dash is pretty good for getting behind Drake's cover pretty fast. So, yeah, that's a bad one too. I just found out that one was bad.
Okay, so a typical Drake gameplay is
pretty much AK and barrel you to death. Drake's main playstyle is to basically keep you out with AK and in barrel until he gets in, and he has like a few tools close quarters combat wise. I pretty much put him in the category as jack of all trades, really, because he does have some move to deal with every situation, whether it's close range, mid range, and the Magnum for long range.
So going from that, let's go into his square moves. How would you do anything tweak-wise to his slide attack?
Honestly, I've been up and down about the slide. I've listened to other high-tier players such as Viz and Marcus Soul. I've watched the forums. I've even tested it myself. I know the slide. People think the slide is like a block string or it's like completely unpunishable, which is not true. Honestly, people are going about it the wrong way. Like, because I punish slide all the time. It's the timing. The timing is pretty strict on punishing it. I won't lie.
Well, I can safely say the fastest possible move to punish that attack is Raiden's backstab.
Yes,
if Drake holds block, I've tested this multiple times myself, and if Drake holds block, he can't punish it.
Right. I tested a lot of characters offline, like Raiden, Kratos, Hayachi, Cat, Spike, you name it, and I didn't have a problem with punishing the things online. I guess it's online inconsistencies with the netcode. I'm not sure, but I think maybe it should, get a few recovery frames to it as far as punishing it. Not too much, because I don't want it to, because the slide part is part of his B&B combos. So I don't want it completely destroyed. I just want it to the point where maybe the punish window is a little bit wider, so people can deal with it, but Drakes can also still combo.
I understand. This move is basically another one of his quote-unquote utilization moves, correct? Where, in which case, when Drake uses it, he uses it kind of like to go under maybe a Kratos neutral square, for instance, correct?
Because the startup is so... That's probably one of the only moves in the game that can deal with Kratos' chain attacks, because the slide has such priority that the trade is usually in Drake's favor. For example, if we trade attacks, he'll pop up in the air and I can double slide him into a combo.
So essentially what you're asking for, though, is to make the slide more of a read-based thing rather than something that you can just slide back and forth, correct?
Right.
So basically, it would be more of a read-based move, considering if you were to give, because if you're going to use this move, you're going to use this move correctly, and if you do it, if you just kind of throw it out there as what seems to be kind of the general game plan of just sliding back and forth, and some characters can't punish it, it kind of defeats the purpose of being a tool, and is just more along the lines of something that Drake's just going to do this for free for days.
Oh, absolutely, I agree, because there's a lot of Drakes online that just... I don't even have to go there. Y'all already know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I had to deal with it myself. Like, I'm not the only... Like, I have to deal with Drake sliders, spammers too, so I completely understand where everybody comes from. I do want Drake to smarten up, because Drake is a hard character to master, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's one, like, between him and Kratos, they're like the go-to characters of the game. Both of them, in my opinion, are the Ryu of the game. But as far as entry level characters,
right?
But he has so many tools that a lot of Drake players haven't utilized yet, and I want people to really smarten up about their gameplay, opposed to just slide, AK barrel slide, AK all the time. So
no, that's completely understandable.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. So basically, TLDR is give his slide move more recovery frames, but other than that, it's fine. Just curious, how do you feel about when Drake slides and it goes through a character, whether on block or on hit?
I don't have a problem with it as long as if you increase the recovery frames, it shouldn't really matter, because you can just turn around and jab him.
Or grab him or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It will not be an issue if they increase the recovery frames. It won't be an issue at all.
Okay, I was just curious about that, since that's the other main property of this move.
What about the issue Drake has with characters with parries?
That issue is because there are 6 characters in this game with parries. Am I right?
Yeah.
It's Heihachi, Kratos, Sly, Dante, Noriko, Raiden. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I tested all 6 of those. The 3 that don't have that issue is not Raiden, but Sly, Kratos, and Heihachi.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what range you hit them at. Their parries will affect Drake's slide. The issue is with Dante, Raiden, and Noriko. The closer Drake is to them, Drake will go straight through, and he won't be affected by. Yeah, their parries won't be affected. But if he ends right in the front of him, or they hit the tip of his foot, then he'll be crumpled. Now, I don't know if it's an issue with Drake's hitbox per se, or the hitbox of those 3 characters' parries. But
it could just be that those parries need better tracking.
Right, because like I said, half 3 people work, 3 people don't. So, because I know everybody thinks it goes straight through everybody's, but that's not the case. So.
Okay, so this is more of an issue for Sony Santa Monica to address with those characters' counters, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Do you feel that any of his other square moves need any tweaking, such as his I want to say his neutral square punch string? Do you
Oh yeah, because it has a random ender, doesn't it? It can be a butt drop.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that move. It is one of the most useless moves in his moveset. I do not use it whatsoever. I feel like it's a lot. I hate the random. Even with Cole, I hate the random factor punch. I really hate it.
Oh yeah, no, Cole's is a lot worse. Cole gets a lot from it, whereas Drake doesn't really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if Drake gets the kick, okay, he can go into regular combo. But if Cole crumples you, that's a kill confirm. So
Right.
it just doesn't work in Drake's favor at all. If you want to keep it randomized, at least at best, the uppercut, at least make it comboable.
Like it doesn't combo into anything, does it? Not even barrel.
No, not anything. It's just the only thing that combos is the kick.
Oh.
So it's 3 random strings. I think the hook, the uppercut, and the kick. Pretty much 2 out of 3 is a hard knockdown.
So essentially, would you just remove the? So you would just remove the one that doesn't cause the hard knockdown, then, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. So it would just basically, if it's going to be random, tweak the property so that at least if he does get the 1 out of 3 chance to get a combo, or to get to the move that would allow him a combo, it should be at least giving him a combo, since overall this move isn't very safe on block, is it?
Absolutely not. The only 2 moves that's really, as far as the square moves, the only ones that really are safe, honestly, is the slide, really.
Okay. And, with these tweaks, it'll still be kind of safe, but, it'll be much less, spammable in the sense of block string, correct?
Right, and it'll actually give Drake's an opportunity to combo and use more tools in his slide, as far as square moves are concerned, because that's the problem. Slide is the best. If
there's no reason not to use it.
If you don't give me something else, that's all I can really use, because it's the most useful move in his tool set as far as the square moves are concerned. So if you give Drake's more options, then they'll open up their opportunities.
So basically, his 2 other ground moves then are fine. His forward punch and his up square.
Oh no, the haymaker is fine. It is completely unsafe on block, but that's fine. I don't have a problem with that move at all. Okay. The up square, another useless Drake move. The grenade.
So the issue is it's just so much worse than his grenade launcher. There's no reason to use it.
Yeah. There is absolutely no reason to use it. Now, I was going back and forth with this as far as what I want to do with it. At first, I said, okay, let's make it instantly explodable like the grenade launcher, but it's at 20 AP. So if you launching those things, it'll rack up a decent amount of AP pretty fast, and it may become a disadvantage to everybody else. So I was thinking, decrease the fuse time, at least make it usable, because I could
decrease the cooldown or something.
Absolutely, because that move is horrible.
The arc of that grenade is wider than the grenade launcher, right?
It goes a little bit farther, but like I said, the time is so long, it's practically useless. I made up some Drake tech as far as trapping somebody with the AK and letting the grenade explode, and that could turn it either me jumping straight up into a magnum shot or a level 1 kill confirm. So that would actually help if you defuse the time on the grenade. That tactic can be used a lot more. It'll basically give the move purpose if you defuse it, and you can trap people with the AK to get an explosion. So
So basically, just make the diffusion of the grenade shorter.
Right.
So just leave it how it is. Just make the grenade take less time to explode, and it'll be fine. Correct?
Yeah, pretty much. It has a decent amount of recovery on it, so it'll be fine. So it can still be punished. So Drakes will still have to think about how they throw it. So.
Okay. Let's see. How about his aerial squares? Are any of those, do you feel like, deserve a tweak, or how those is pretty much fine?
All of them are garbage, pretty much.
Wow.
The punt kick.
His up square, correct?
That's his neutral.
It's neutral. This is neutral. The punt kick is his neutral square. I remember it was this Evo, the Evo combo video back when before the game came out. I don't know if you remember it, but he could link air neutral, the punt kick to the drop kick to the magnum shot. He can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, we all saw that. We all missed that
Right.
version.
That's because they nerfed the magnum's range.
Yep. And I think it needs to return to that. Those two moves specifically, where you defuse where you bring down the recovery times. I mean, it's pretty much unusable against the range on it is terrible. So
Yeah.
it really can't. I would still bring down the recovery time so it could be used in its other combos because you could use it in a few combos. I mean, maybe one combo I could think of that I've seen somebody do, but it wasn't worth it.
Okay. So what would you do then? Would you just decrease the cooldown time then?
Yes, that's pretty much it.
All right. Let's go. Let's try another one of his aerials then. What about his down square?
The double arm swing. Yes, that's fine. That's his main combo starter. That's pretty much his main combo starter. Way in the air is useless, but like at short hop distance is his his best combo starter. So I have no problem with that. It's fine just the way it is.
It's not overbearing either. So
no, absolutely. It can be punished on block as well.
Okay.
Yeah, there is.
What about his up square then?
Oh, the useless grenade in the air.
Mm-hmm. What would you do?
Same.
So you would just decrease the cooldown time as well, or you would decrease the cooldown time and the fuse time.
Yeah, pretty much. Just the air and ground version are pretty much the same.
Okay then. And finally, let's just talk about his drop kick. Anything about the drop kick that needs tweaking, or you feel like this is fine?
No, it's pretty much a balanced move. It could be used in combos. You can catch people at a decent amount in the air. I mean, it's not the best thing, but it's very usable.
Right, and it causes a knockback, which is pretty good for Drake, correct?
That could. If you're close enough to the wall, you can link it to either Magnum or AK, so it's fine.
Okay. Going off of that, let's go into his triangle then. His triangle moves. Let's talk about the heavily debated run and gun AK.
Oh yes.
Like, what would you do to this move to help tweak it out? It makes basically using other mid-range characters kind of moot, since his run and gun AK gets into their range and then just beats them out.
Pretty much. I could name a character that has the most hardest time with Drake's AK, and that's Spike. Because when Spike throw out bananas, he can pretty much back AK and destroy all three of them if you time it right.
Wow. So,
because every time I go get Spikes, I feel bad for him.
Okay, so what would you do to this move then to help tweak it out, to balance it out?
I mean, I know people are gonna hate me for.
I understand it's one of the moves that kind of makes Drake who he is, but at the same time, it's like it's
not
because
move.
Yeah, it's one of those moves that only maybe not that many characters can deal with.
I'd like to add that this is probably the thing that makes him so good in 2v2s above anything else.
Mm-hmm.
This move can confirm every super in the game. So
yeah, it could leave people in hit stun and your teammate can pretty much kill confirm you.
Yeah, basically.
So what would you do to this? Would you make the cooldown longer on each time he runs, or maybe shorten the bullet distance by a little bit, or what?
I would say maybe shorten the bullet distance, because if you make it the cooldown longer, it'll pretty much be, why am I using this move type thing. Because honestly, like a lot of characters with like a dive kick or great mobility can get behind Drake pretty easily, like Big Daddy, Parappa, Raiden, Toro.
But the issue of this is it's basically like this move can lock down people. Like it makes other mid-range characters who are also mid-range, such as like Jack, basically unable to fight back because of basically the AK defeats their whole mid-range arsenal.
Right.
What about the fact that the AK can be cancelled into the cover wall immediately? If someone gets behind you, it doesn't matter, does it? If you just do that straight away.
The cover wall is good. It's a move, in my opinion, that people are finally catching on to.
Mm-hmm.
But it isn't OP like it was back when the game first came out.
Oh yeah, no, with the gun.
Now, when the game first came out, hey, I understand because the infamous AK loop, because of that. Because it could be canceled. It could be canceled into backwards AK, and that was the problem, like really fast. So they actually took that out, and they decreased the time you can get into the wall. I don't know if you see me on stream. I've actually messed up the inputs more than one time, because you can cancel it either in front or behind. But if you mispress it, it'll cancel the opposite way, and he'll get punished.
But that's but it still hasn't addressed the issue of the AK itself. However,
my point. Sorry, my if I wasn't clear, my point was getting behind Drake with the AK isn't that big of a deal when he just has this cover wall that he can use to cover himself completely. Well, no pun intended.
He can easily. No, it's fine. He can easily be thrown or super out of it. It's not a big of a deal as people think it is. As far as it's a great move. I'm not saying that, but it can be thrown out of. It's slower than people think.
Would you say that cutting the bullet distance would make this more of a commitment move rather than how it kind of is used at the moment, kind of as very, very safe poking on, like, to get people stuck into block stun traps, such as like cutting the distance enough where, like, if Drake's gonna be doing run and gun, he's gonna commit to it and he's gonna be hitting with it, as opposed to, did I hit you? No, then let me just get into cover and run back, and then repeat the process. Do you think that would be a good trade-off?
You saying it should be a full commit move, as far as if I do it, I'm going straight through, right? That's what you're saying?
Exactly.
Regardless of block or hit.
Well, I mean, hence why cutting the distance. Like, I mean, that way you can't do it from as far. Drake would still be safe. Yes, he could still do the little concrete wall. However, the bullets wouldn't be hitting until he's closer in, as opposed to only one bullet hit on block. Well, I'm just going to get into the little cover and then back out of this.
Right, I understand what you're saying. Decreasing the bullet distance would be fine. I mean, pretty much, just as you said, decreasing the bullet range itself, I think that would be fine, because, like I said, if you increase the recovery time, it's no use. It's extremely punishable, and if you make it a full commit move, that makes it even worse. So
we don't want to ruin this move. We just want to make it more manageable for other characters.
Right, I understand.
So yeah, kind of.
I know that's a touchy one. I know. I have to deal with it all the time.
Yeah. So basically, for everyone out there, our main suggestion is leave this move alone, other than cut the range down, so that if Drake's going to be, it allows Drake to be still safe, but not as safe as he can, such as 3 character lengths from distance safe.
Right.
So okay. Okay, so going from that, let's go into his other triangles. How about his pistol?
The Magnum is fine the way it is. I consider it as a baby version of Radic Sniper.
Yeah.
It has a pretty good range. It can be short hopped for anti-airs. 30 AP. It's not too overbearing.
Correct.
Even with the short hop, it's not too overbearing because Drakes still have to practice their aim.
Right.
Like, I sit in training mode and practice my aim a lot. So it's a move you have to master. You just can't. You can't.
You can't just throw it out.
Right. You just can't throw it out, especially on the ground, because you stuck there until you recover.
Right. Okay. Well, actually, let me ask you this: are there any of us grounded triangle moves that you feel need to be tweaked in any way, or are they pretty much kind of, they're fine how they are?
The minigun.
Okay, so.
Oh yeah, that thing is awful.
All right, let's get into the minigun.
Death button.
Yeah.
Okay, could you get into the minigun and how you would tweak this move?
Pretty much increase the startup frames by a lot, because it's a full commit move. You cannot cancel out of it. It's slow. It builds 30 AP, which is really not good. I mean,
considering
at least for a minigun. You think of a minigun, you don't think of 30 AP. You would think at least 40 or 45.
Right, but in the context of this game, 30 is basically the quote-unquote highest.
Yeah, 30 is fine. I don't have a problem with the AP. I have a problem with the startup frames because it's the way it's angled. It's supposed to be an anti-air move. The startup frames are so horrible. You can't keep people out with that at all. Like I said, it's the death button. So pretty much increase the startup frames by a lot and keep the recovery the same as far as on block.
Okay. Wouldn't you prefer to, instead of, I presume you mean decrease the startup frames?
Yeah, decrease. I'm sorry.
Sorry. So wouldn't you prefer to make the animation quicker as well?
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, make
so
the
he's not standing there
quicker
for as long?
Yes. I mean, you can keep the recovery time the same because we want to keep it balanced.
Right.
So if on block, it's not even on block, it's still punishable. So like I said, it'll still make Drake characters really think and really think about using a move and putting it out there.
Okay. So does that kind of do it for his grounded triangle moves that need any tweaking?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. How about his aerials? Any of his aerial triangles need any changes?
The Uzi.
Okay. Could you explain the Uzi? I know that the Uzi is considered a physical move, despite it coming from a gun. Oddly enough.
I mean, it's the only really thing I use it for, me personally, is to destroy Sackboy's traps. That's pretty much it. It's not a really good move. I mean, if it's short hopped, it's pretty much safe on block if it's short hopped. I've seen another Drake do this a lot, and it's irritating. But it's not overbearing. Absolutely, yeah. Shout out to him.
Shout out to your boy Z Torrico.
He made me realize how annoying that move is. Oh, that move is annoying. As far as tweaking it, I mean, I'm not sure. Probably increase the hit stun on it, maybe to make it easy, make it more combo.
I mean, it's still kind of a commitment move since he still hops in the air.
Yeah, right. Just the short hop distance is pretty much, he's safe.
And of course, if the opponent rolls when he jumps, then well, that was kind of a pointless jump. So it's so it's still not exactly like he short hops. He's just gonna do short hop Uzi block screens for days, and your opponent can't roll out.
Right.
So it builds about what 10 AP.
Bad. Huh?
It builds about 10 AP, doesn't it?
Yeah, 10 AP. So I guess it's okay. Maybe increase the hit stun. That's
so if they were to increase the hit stun, that's great. If not, then whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's a move I don't have a problem with either way. I mean,
it has its uses, but if they were to increase it so it'd be more usable in other ways, that'd be nice. But otherwise, it's okay.
Otherwise, it's fine. He has a lot more tools that needs to be tweaked opposed to that. That could be just remain useless in my opinion.
Alrighty. All right. Let's finish up his button moves. Let's get into his circles.
The zip line.
Okay.
The zip line is mostly used as a mobility tool. I found a few more uses for it, like combos in the corner or kill confirms in the corner. But I just personally think it needs to be canceled out of because at a specific distance, it could be you can crumple your opponent and you'll keep going.
Oh.
So maybe if you could crumple your opponent and cancel out of it, maybe you could either set up some mix-up setups or continue a combo, either or.
So basically what you're saying, though, is not to actually cancel it. It's just that if on hit on crumple, the move Drake can cancel out of it.
Right.
Not like, not cancel out of it whenever he feels like it.
Just on hit.
No, that sounds fair. What do you think, BC?
No, it sounds fine. Like, you wouldn't want them... there's no reason for Drake to go sliding past someone who he's actually putting a butt drop with the move, yeah.
Right.
Right.
No, that seemed like a fine buff to him. If anything, it's not even really a buff. It's more like it feels more like a mechanic correction, really.
Yeah. That would be the same as Big Daddy's charge, putting someone who he just hit behind him.
Right.
So,
it'd just be like it's just like something that I'm sure hopefully was an oversight. But okay, so zip line. What else do you have?
All the moves behind cover, to be perfectly honest with you, because the moves behind cover are all useless. Maybe for except the gun butt, you can crumple somebody with it, but you can't cancel out of it. So it's good for stopping somebody's pressure just to get out of it.
Well, yeah. The issue I have with that is that the cover wall is an amazing bait for a grab. Drake can be grabbed out of it, but that's exactly what you want your opponent to do. So you can short hop, air down square, and combo them. So I don't really think it's particularly weak in the regard that he can be thrown out, because that's exactly what you want them to try and do.
So it's more along the lines of like, it has its flaw, but the flaw is sort of mitigated by the fact that it's the only flaw about the move. So it's the only thing you would like if they get near you. You could easily just cancel it into a jump or run away AK.
I don't think you can run away AK anymore.
Can you?
But
you can't back AK anymore. You can jump out. And rope swing neutral air triangle out.
I mean, no, that's fine, because that's he's doing a move. He can get punished for it if your opponent does it badly. But it's just like, if you
read your opponent, it's really not that bad.
True. I don't know. What do you think, BC?
Well, I would perhaps just increase the time that he has to stay in it before jumping out by a fraction. A few more frames in that regard would be quite nice. As it is, I just think it's a really, really good
defensive
bait.
tool.
Yeah, bait for a grab, and he gets a burst from it, and it's I mean, you get thrown out of it, but that's exactly what you want people to try and do. So maybe make it a bit more risky in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, it's high reward, is it not?
Yeah.
Or solid.
Not really. It depends on your opponent. It's really not.
Well, I mean, it'd be character dependent though, but like overall though, due to its utilization, where it can cancel an AK, it can be used against other. It can be used against other, projectile users, as since, like you said, there is no projectile can break this move without leaving them incredibly open, and it leads to a burst. So would you be fine with BC's suggestion of maybe just increasing the amount of time he has to commit to being inside of it, just by a little bit?
Well, yeah, that's fine. Me personally, I don't stay in it too long anyway, so it's actually fine to me. It's something I really don't rely on that much, like as far as staying in it. because, like I said, Drake can't stay in the cover for too long because the other moves in cover are kind of useless.
Yeah, but that's
maybe with the exception of gun butt. So it's fine. I mean, increasing the time would be fine.
What about any of his other circle moves? Could use any other changing?
I'm gonna be honest. The barrel needs a little bit more durability because it pretty much turned into a paper barrel. Like
that's the same exact analogy RDK used.
Right, it's pretty much a paper barrel now. I understand why it got nerfed. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. It's just the fact that every small little projectile can destroy it. Every one. So it's almost useless.
So
do you have the barrel is almost useless.
Well,
yes.
I have a question for you. How much durability did the barrel have before it was made out of origami?
Honestly, it was just the explosion that made it bad. It could actually be self-destructed by Drake, or it's just the explosion that made
it so strong.
Yeah, and the explosion was 30 AP, so that's what made it so bad. It wasn't a spammable move. But when it was out, you couldn't throw out another one. But if it exploded, you can throw one out immediately. So when you trade with your opponent or you destroy yourself, you can throw another one right out. So it was pretty much close to spammable. Well, pretty much spammable in that regard. As far as exploding.
So how do you feel about the move currently? You feel that it's just a little too weak or just very weak?
I think it's a little too weak.
Okay.
I think it going by a little bit more durability on it.
Going by that, how would you feel about a 10 AP of durability on it? It's low enough that if an opponent throws a jab out, it won't break, but they would have to do a more of a commitment move, such as what's a good example? Such as a spike pinwheel or spike sword swipe, as opposed to a jab that would just break it in one hit. How do you think that wouldn't make it that much? It wouldn't make it the same nightmare it used to be, but at the same time, it would just give it more usability then. Correct?
Right. Yeah, that would be fine. I don't want it to turn back into the nightmare. I had to deal with it too, so I don't want it to become that anymore. But I don't want it to be a paper barrel getting destroyed by every little thing.
Ah, yes. The golden era when you can go into free-for-all and find 4 Drakes. Okay. Okay. What other circle moves do you feel that could also use tweaking? We've already gone over the cover and the barrel. Or are those his biggest issue ones?
Yeah, those are his biggest issue ones. The tranquilizer.
I feel that the tranquilizer is actually underappreciated. I feel that it's actually a very good move for him.
I think that's potentially one of the best moves in the game.
Yeah. It pretty much stops you from jumping, and I call it the panic button. Everybody blocks. Like they don't know what to do, including myself. If I get hit by it, I don't know what to do. I think it's really good for setting up your opponent with Oki setups, and I throw to the corner and try to set you up for a corner kill confirm or something myself. But it's pretty good. It can really stop a lot of air people, like people who stay in the air a lot, like Fat Princess or Fat Princess or Sweet Tooth. You have to use that against them. I didn't use it for a long time, and I was thinking like, why am I not using this move? It's really good.
Right. But overall, though, this move doesn't need any changes. What it does, it has a very good reward of grounding the opponent and preventing them from actually doing their full walk speed. So no changes to this move. Just just a move that you feel like needs to be addressed. That it's not too strong nor too weak. Correct?
Right. Just people need to utilize it more into their moves and into their playstyles. That's it.
Okay. Alright, so does that cover all of his button moves?
Are there any changes you'd make to Drake's level 1?
I don't know why the AoE was changed on it, the area effect. I don't know why it was changed. It made it, well, as far as 1v1 is concerned, it made it kind of bad. It's a move that Drake players don't even go to as far as level 1 is concerned, because it's an anti-air move, and you have to make a lot of good reads when it comes to that move, because
I see that. Because you're not confirming it outside of the barrel and some situational wall bounce stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because all the stuff I made up is really hard to do. A lot of his level 1 kill confirms are corner specific.
Right, and in all honesty, I'm honestly fine with corner kill confirms, since you would have to, well, one, you'd have to get the specific spacing, and as well as two, you'd have to have successfully pushed them into the corner. So
yeah, that's why it's really hard to do. That's why you see the basic playstyle is Drake's will go for their level 3.
Just focus on the level 1 for now.
Okay,
we'll get to level 3 soon.
Okay, no problem.
Would you say to just increase the radius by a little bit, not as much as it used to be, but just slightly more?
Right. Yeah, that would be fine.
But I mean, the radius made that thing pretty overpowered in a free-for-all.
Well, just a little bit, not as much as it used to be, but maybe perhaps a couple pixels wider. Yes, because keep in mind though that this is a level 1. It's not supposed to be level 1, bam, gotcha, bam, gotcha. It's supposed to be more of a tech read thing.
Yeah. Right.
It's supposed to be more of a tech read, and in the scenario you posted where you successfully got them into the position where they can be killed by a tech. It's just Ratchet was just too short, or it blew up above his head and it didn't kill him, or something like that.
Right. It's a move. It's a super that you really have to read your opponent, know their moves, know the recovery, and know where you can punish. Because if you miss, you're dead, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. Maybe it's exactly what a level 1 should be in that respect.
Yeah. I personally think. I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with the recovery time on it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I like reading my opponents and trying to figure out what I can do with it. It's just the blast radius. Just make the blast radius a little bit better.
Okay, that sounds kind of fair. Like, not a huge gap, but a couple pixels wider to make it more feasible, essentially. So moving on. Okay, so now let's get into his more complained about level 3. What would you do to this? What is there anything, or anything you would do to this move, like in terms of duration, or the how you move around as a little zombie?
I think it's fine the way it is, with one exception, and I'll get to that in a moment. Because Drake's level 3 is the only level 3 in the game, and to my knowledge, that people can attack attack him. I don't think any other level 3 super can attack, the person active. Mm-hmm. So if you make it to the point where the zombies could go faster, then it'll be kind of a useless super.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Then they could rush you down and just stop you from attacking.
Yeah, like if they ever start, hey, let's rush them, like it's over. So I know everybody's problem with it is when you respawn, because you can get a free combo. That's the problem.
And in doubles,
I'm gonna be honest,
for your partner.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. In free for all, I'm biased to it. I'm not gonna lie, but
in a more enclosed scenario, such as 2s or 1s, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah, yes, it is, because especially Drake and Spike, because me and my partner had a setup where I'll do it and he'll just level 2 and clear the screen, and that'll be 6 kills.
Wow,
that's unfair. That is unfair to the opposing the opposing team. And I heard it's so much salt about that, and I understand. I don't want that. So to fix that, kind of like Isaac or Zeus's Super, where everybody respawns in a neutral state.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be fine.
Well, this would also include I guess this would take a slight programming on Sony Santa Monica's part, but it would also apply to his partner in twos then, correct?
Yeah, yes. Everybody respawns and respawns at the same time, so that can't happen.
Yeah.
I'd maybe just like to suggest also you could literally just respawn with invincibility, like as if you just got supered. That might be a bit easier to put in.
Mm-hmm.
That's just another way to fix it.
Or that too. Either way they want to do it, fix it.
Right. Because I mean, as it stands right now, it's impossible to get 3 kills with it, as you know, unless they throw away their their invincibility as a zombie. So Drake's limit is typically 2. Is 2 in a 1v1 scenario, up to 3 to 4 in a 2v2 scenario, depending on stage and stuff. And okay, how do you feel about his part? If Drake's in a 2 scenario, his partner can gain AP off the zombies. Do you feel like that's a little? Do you feel like that's a little too strong at the moment, or maybe it could, maybe if the super would end like a second earlier, so the partner wouldn't get as much AP if that was the, plan.
If I could just put it in
I think that's the only super that can do that, right?
No, Big Daddies can do it too.
Oh, that can do it as well.
Yeah.
So just thinking with Sackboys, you can attack the bubbles to stop them moving, which happens with this. The zombies don't move, but you don't build AP when you attack the bubbles.
Oh, you build AP when you attack the zombies and when you attack them when they're swimming with Big Daddy.
Yeah. But with Sackboy, you don't build AP when you attack the bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends which one you want it to be like, really.
So would you just prefer it? Like, I mean, I understand. In the 2 scenario, it's still fair. It should. Your partner still should get AP, but it's like, even the thing is with Big Daddies, the character can still move. Like, you can still hit them all you want, but they're still like slightly moving, as opposed to when they're hit as a zombie, they're completely stunned.
Yeah, they're stunned, right? Yeah, I think the stun is kind of unfair. I mean, even though you'll probably get killed anyway, the stun is kind of unfair.
Right. It's so perhaps just shorten the stun time on the zombies when they're hit by their partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Let's get into his glitches. Does Drake have any serious glitches?
Not really. Besides the barrel coming out, topsy-turvy.
Oh, but that's just a graphical thing, isn't it?
Yeah. That
right.
Funny.
Okay, so basically, so wow, our first non-buggy character.
Right.
Yeah.
He really knows.
Wow.
He's pretty much fine, isn't he? Like, there's only one thing that I can think of, which is the cover wall armor. If you jump out of it and do an aerial attack, like air down square, immediately that attack becomes fully armored.
Okay. So
yeah, because I'll see the red flash, and I actually just a funny tidbit. I actually found something out where if you you cover wall and do what is that? Air down circle, the wall fall,
the free fall,
real fast. Yeah. He'll jump up like Super Mario, still in the cover, and come back down. It's just fun.
Wow. Okay, so but in all honesty, though, so basically the issue would be just to somehow look in the mechanics to see what causes this armor on air attacks, and just tweak it out, just patch it out. But okay, wow. Shoutouts to Drake for not being very buggy.
Right. And the only other glitch I can think about is, I guess it's the online netcode issue where his level 2 super doesn't come out in 0 frames. Like, as far as level 2s are concerned, as far as activating it raw, it's one of the best in the game. It could be Raidens, Evil Codes, Fat Princesses, a lot of moves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for Raiden, for example, if if he activates his and I activate mine, he'll just freeze me. Like, it'll just show, you'll hear timber, but you'll just see the blocks falling. You won't see like him pushing it downwards, and I'll be in stun and I'll die. But that's probably just a online issue.
That sounds almost definitely like it's a netcode issue. So still worth mentioning to patch out. Could you give a quick summary of all the of Drake's most important moves to be tweaked, and we can call this a podcast.
His the minigun, please, minigun, please. The air, the grenade diffuser, make the diffuse time shorter.
Right.
Fix his level 3.
Right. Tweak the range of his running AK.
Yes. Tweak the range slight bit.
Tweak the recover. Oh, you got it. I'm sorry.
Tweak the durability on the barrel, and also, I'm sorry, fix the hitbox on the explosion, because it's like you can only get hit on the back of it. I have a combo where he ends up in the middle of it and he won't explode out of it. So tweak that.
Okay.
Because that explosion is kind of flimsy.
And the recovery on the slide attack.
Right.
The recovery on the slide attack.
Making zipline on attack. What is it? Attack crumple cancelable.
Cancelable. Yep.
And I believe those are his most important ones, since basically Drake's glitchiness is either netcode based or just silly visual.
Right.
Alrighty, so yeah, that would be our Nathan Drake podcast with Solid Sword. And remember, guys, these podcasts are meant to inform you guys, give you guys different insight on characters that maybe you're not familiar with, or moves and potential strategies that you're not used to, or aren't aware are around. And so yeah, that ends our Happy Drake podcast with me, Domino SNK,
and BC,
and I'm Solid Sword 23.
Yeah, and we'll catch you guys next time. See ya.